Do you feel exhausted trying to control everything? The weight of expectations, the pressure to fix everything, it can be suffocating. What if I told you there's another way? A path paved with trust, freedom, and deeper connections. That's the heart of the let them theory. Over the next few minutes, we'll unpack 5 life-changing lessons that will help you improve your relationships, reduce stress, and foster growth. We've all been there. A loved one makes a decision that leaves us bewildered, maybe even a little scared. We question their choices, their judgment, and sometimes even their sanity. My own daughter Ellen decided to pursue a career in art. It was a path that seemed uncertain and fraught with challenges. Now, I am a researcher, a data person by nature, and the life of a starving artist? Well, it wasn't exactly what I envisioned for her future. I had always imagined her in a more stable, predictable career. But as I watched Ellen, her passion, her drive, it was undeniable. She was so deeply immersed in her work, it was clear this was her calling. And I realized that trying to steer her toward a path I thought was best, well, it would be doing her a disservice. It would be like clipping the wings of a bird meant to soar. It would be denying her the opportunity to discover her own strength, her own resilience, her own definition of success. She needed to find her own way. So I took a deep breath and I told her, Ellen, I support you, I believe in you, and I meant it with all my heart. And you know what? It was terrifying, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, it was all-consuming. Letting go of that control, trusting her to navigate her own path, it required a level of vulnerability that I wasn't sure I possessed, but I knew it was necessary. But here's the thing about vulnerability, it's the birthplace of courage. It's where true strength is found. It's in those moments of uncertainty, of surrendering control, that we discover a deeper level of trust, not just in others, but in ourselves. And Ellen, she flourished. She found her own rhythm. She faced challenges, of course, but she learned from them. Each obstacle became a stepping stone. She grew stronger, more resilient, more confident in her own skin. She became the person she was always meant to be. So the next time someone you care about faces a decision, remember Ellen. Remember the power of letting go. Trust them to navigate their path, and be there to cheer them on every step of the way, because in the end it's their journey and they deserve to own it. Let's talk about control for a moment. That feeling that we can orchestrate outcomes, that we can manipulate situations to go our way. It's an alluring illusion, isn't it? But the truth is, control is often nothing more than a coping mechanism. It's a way to protect ourselves from the messy, unpredictable nature of life. I'll never forget working with a CEO, a brilliant woman named Sarah. She was used to being in command, to calling the shots, but it came at a cost. She was stressed, she was overworked, and her team was disengaged. Why? Because she was trying to control every single detail, every decision, every outcome. And then one day she had an epiphany. She realized that her need for control was actually stifling creativity, innovation, and growth. It was creating a culture of fear, where people were afraid to take risks, to make mistakes, to truly shine. So, Sarah did something radical. She started letting go. She focused on what she could control, her own actions, her own reactions, her own energy. She empowered her team to make decisions, to take ownership, to be the brilliant minds she knew they were. And guess what? The company thrived. Productivity soared, creativity blossomed, and Sarah, she finally found a sense of peace. She realized that true leadership wasn't about control, but about influence. Chapter 3. Freedom is a gift for both parties. We often talk about freedom as if it's a zero-sum game, where one person's gain is another person's loss. If I give you freedom, then I'm losing control, or so the thinking goes. If I empower you, then I'm somehow diminishing my own power, my own influence. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, the act of giving freedom enriches both parties. Freedom, true freedom, it's a gift that multiplies when shared. A gift that we give not only to others but to ourselves. It creates a ripple effect of positivity and growth. When we release the need to control, to micromanage, to dictate every outcome, we unlock a level of trust and autonomy that benefits everyone involved. This trust fosters innovation and creativity. I think about a team I worked with, a group of nurses in a cardiac unit. They were incredibly skilled, deeply compassionate, but they were drowning in paperwork and protocols. Their days were filled with checking boxes, following rigid guidelines, and seeking approval for every little decision. This constant oversight was stifling their ability to provide the best care. And the patients? Well, they felt it. The nurses, bogged down by bureaucracy, weren't able to fully show up, to connect with their patients on a human level. They were going through the motions, but the joy, the passion, it was fading. So, we decided to try something radical. We gave the nurses autonomy, we empowered them to make decisions, to adjust protocols when necessary, to trust their own judgment. And the transformation was remarkable. The nurses, freed from the shackles of micromanagement, were re-energized. They were able to spend more time with their patients, to provide personalized care, to rediscover the joy that had drawn them to nursing in the first place. They felt seen, heard, cared for. The simple act of granting freedom had transformed the entire environment, making it more humane and fulfilling for everyone involved. Chapter 4. You can't please everyone. Let's talk about people-pleasing, a topic that resonates with so many of us. That deep-seated desire to be liked, to be accepted, to avoid conflict at all costs, can be overwhelming. It's a trap, my friends, a trap that keeps us small, inauthentic, and perpetually exhausted. We end up living a life that isn't truly ours. I've spent years researching shame, vulnerability, and the human experience. And let me tell you, the need for approval is a universal struggle. It's something that touches every one of us, regardless of our background or circumstances. It's that voice in our heads that whispers, "Don't rock the boat, don't speak your truth, just smile and nod." It convinces us that conformity is the safest path. But here's the thing, you can't please everyone. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who disagrees or disapproves. It's an impossible pursuit, a recipe for burnout and resentment. The more you try to please others, the more you lose sight of yourself. And more importantly, it robs you of the freedom to be your authentic self. The joy of living a life true to your values and desires is unparalleled. I think about a young musician I met, a talented singer-songwriter named Maya. Her journey is a powerful example of this struggle. Maya had a powerful voice, a unique sound, but she was terrified of criticism. The fear of judgment was holding her back. She craved approval from her family, her friends, even strangers on the internet. The constant need for validation was overwhelming, and it was paralyzing her. The fear of not being liked was stifling her creativity and her spirit. She'd spend hours crafting the perfect social media post, agonizing over every lyric, every chord progression, terrified of what people might think. It was a never-ending cycle of self-doubt, and you know what? It showed. Her music, once raw and soulful, became watered-down, generic, a pale imitation of her true potential. Her passion was fading, and her performances lacked the spark that once made her stand out. And then one day, something clicked. She had an epiphany that changed everything. Maya realized that her desire for approval was stifling her creativity, her voice, her very essence. She knew she had to make a change, so she made a decision. She was going to create from her heart, even if it meant alienating some people. She chose authenticity over approval. She started writing songs that were raw, vulnerable, and unapologetically her. Her music began to reflect her true self. She stopped reading the comments, stopped seeking validation from outside sources, and focused on what truly mattered, her art. It was a liberating experience. And you know what? It was terrifying. The fear of rejection was still there, but she faced it head on. She faced criticism, judgment, even rejection. But she didn't let it deter her. But she also found her voice. A voice that was strong, clear, and undeniably hers. She discovered a depth of creativity and a level of authenticity that she never knew she possessed. It was a transformative journey. The paradox is that when we stop trying to please everyone, we actually become more relatable, more lovable, more human. We connect on a deeper level with those who truly matter. Chapter 5. Growth comes with challenges and freedom. We live in a culture that often equates comfort with happiness. We're told to avoid discomfort, to seek pleasure, to play it safe. But here's the truth. Real growth, lasting fulfillment, it lies on the other side of our comfort zones. Think about any significant accomplishment in your life, any time you've truly stretched yourself, evolved, become a better version of yourself. Was it easy? Was it always comfortable? Or did it require courage, resilience, and a willingness to embrace the unknown? I think about a conversation I had with a group of entrepreneurs, men and women who had built successful businesses from the ground up. And you know what struck me? It wasn't their intelligence, their business acumen, or even their work ethic that set them apart. It was their relationship with failure. They didn't see failure as a setback, but as a stepping stone. They embraced challenges, they learned from their mistakes, they pivoted when necessary. They understood that growth wasn't linear, it wasn't always pretty, but it was always worth it. What is one area of your life where you've been playing it safe? What dream have you been putting off because it feels too risky, too uncomfortable, too far outside your comfort zone? I challenge you to embrace discomfort as a catalyst for growth. Remember, freedom isn't just about the absence of constraints, it's about the presence of choice. Outro: letting go is not giving up. The let them theory is about embracing a new way of being, one marked by trust, freedom, and authenticity. It's about letting go of the need to control, to please, to play it safe, and instead embracing the messy, beautiful, unpredictable journey of life. Remember to trust others to navigate their own paths, to focus on what you can control, to grant freedom as a gift, to embrace your authentic self, and to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Take one of these lessons and try it out in your own life. Share your experiences, your struggles, your victories in the comments below. Let's create a community of support, encouragement, and vulnerability. Letting go isn't giving up, it's gaining clarity and peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey.